Hello my dear students, very good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of our Hindu news analysis. Today we shall be discussing the Hindu dated February 23. I am sure that my students have already read the newspapers, so that you will get the best benefit of the program. Before I start, I would like to request all the students to subscribe to our YouTube channel and support us with your very positive comments regarding the program. I expect even criticism on the program so that I can learn on the job. So make sure that you all subscribe and share this link to others so that others can also join us, and when more and more people watch the program, that will be a great encouragement to my team and I myself. So we shall start with February 23 newspaper, The Hindu. Narayanaswamy government falls in Puducherry. She may visit India for BRICS summit. Varavara Rao granted bail for 6 months, and these are the important headlines of The Hindu dated February 23. The government falls in Puducherry. Puducherry is a state in India. Of course, it does not have complete statehood. It is the representative of the central government is called Lieutenant Governor. Puducherry government has always been fighting the former Lieutenant Governor Kiran Bedi. The complaint was that the government did not get enough chance to implement all its programs thanks to opposition from the Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant Governor Kiran Bedi was removed from the position a few days ago. Now the Telangana governor is given additional charge of Puducherry. So V. Narayanaswamy, the Chief Minister of Puducherry, resigned from the position. He, a few Congress members of, including a few ministers of the government, Congress party was in power in Puducherry. A few members of the Congress legislative party, they resigned. That included a few ministers. So the opposition was preparing an no confidence motion, but as a preemptive measure, the Congress government went for a confidence motion in the Legislative Assembly. So the question that was arisen was that the nominated members, could they vote or not? So this motion was presented before the speaker. Could the nominated members, BJP nominated members, could they vote in the confidence motion? So while the speaker was about to entertain that question, immediately the government, V. Narayanaswamy and his colleagues walked out of the Legislative Assembly and submitted his resignation to the Lieutenant Governor. So now the elections are to be again conducted in Puducherry. She may visit India for BRICS summit. BRICS means Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Major emerging nations of the world, developing nations of the world. Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. This is a new alignment, new grouping. The next summit is to be held in India. It is expected in July or so. India is going to host the summit, and considering the tough going on between India and China, Xi's visit was doubtful, but now it is said that President Xi may visit India for BRICS summit. border crisis won't impact the meat, says China. So it is going to be a very big international event that is going to take place during the COVID time or post-COVID time. Varavara Rao granted bail for 6 months. Bombay High Court granted interim bail for 6 months on medical grounds to poet Varavara Rao 82 in the Bhima Koregaon violence case. We discussed this matter in the newspaper editorial analysis many times, citing humanitarian considerations. Varavara Rao must have been given bail much earlier, but finally he was given interim bail for 6 months on medical grounds. This is a genuine and fit case to grant relief, or else we will be abdicating our constitutional duty and function as a protector of human rights and right to health covered under the right to life guaranteed by the Constitution of India. The court has thought rightly, but on previous occasions similar courts, including the Supreme Court, did not consider it positively. A division bench of Justice SS Shinde and Manish Pitale directed that Rao be discharged from the private hospital where he is admitted, depending on his health condition, and be released on bail for 6 months on furnishing a bond of rupees 50,000. Level platforms. Other governments might take a cue from Australia's law making platforms. Australia's law making platforms pay for the news. This we discussed yesterday. I think we discussed in detail through one question. Australia passed a law that would force the new digital news platforms to pay for the traditional media for using their news. A new law in Australia that seeks to make technology platforms such as Google and Facebook pay news publishers for use of their content presents governments in democracies with an idea worth considering, if not emulating. So the newspaper says that this new law, in fact it is only a bill, not a law in Australia. It is, this particular bill is presented in the Australian Parliament. It is going to be a law once it is passed by the Senate and the Australian Parliament. What the newspaper says that this bill is worth emulating, meaning worth copying. The law, which is based on the realization of severe power imbalance between giant internet platforms and news media, marks a rare intervention by any government in platform publisher relationships. It seeks to level the playing field by mandating that platforms negotiate with publishers of news regarding payment for their content. So if the technology news platforms are to use the news from the traditional platforms, then they have to pay. That is the essence of the law. The platforms are not used to paying for such content. So far they have not been paying for such content. The power imbalance is not just an Australian reality though, it is everywhere. This imbalance has only intensified over the past decade or so, during which time platforms have gained so much power, that they have become de facto gateways to the net. So the influence of the technology platforms like Facebook and Google are going up by the day, and they are even have grown to challenge national governments. They have grown massively to become some of the richest companies on earth today. Unfortunately, during the same time, there has been a precipitous decline in the fortunes of news media. While the technology platform companies became richer and richer and richer, the traditional media companies have been facing a lot of issues, and some of them even vanished, which provide traditional news media, which provides journalistic resources on the ground to keep a population, especially a democracy, well informed. Okay. So please read, it is a new topic, it is a fresh topic, and it is an opportunity to understand a beautifully written article. Please follow the Australian law, the development there. In the days to come, many democracies in the world, including India, may try to emulate such laws. Already the Australian Prime Minister has contacted Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the matter. Look, Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison has himself taken the initiative in reaching out to India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau about the bill. Okay, so please read. This bill, if enacted, will have international ramifications, will have ripple effect in democracies, and that may be needed to control the influence of Google and Facebook. Supreme Court nod for NCLT process on 24,713 crore RIL future deal. This was also discussed in the past. Amazon has moved the Supreme Court to block the RIL future deal. Future has sold its shares to Reliance, and this was contested by Amazon. Supreme Court on Monday allowed National Company Law Tribunal proceedings in connection with the proposed 24,713 crore deal between Future Group and Reliance Industries to go on, but directed the tribunal to refrain from passing any final order of sanction of the scheme. E-commerce major Amazon, which opposes the multi-crore deal, had recently moved NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, against Future Group's plea to hold a meeting of its shareholders or creditors to approve the deal with Reliance. So closely watch this also. Pakistan actions to be reviewed by FATF plenary. Pakistan is grey listed by FATF, Financial Action Task Force, which is the product of G7 countries. If any country resorts to financial terrorism, money laundering and aiding terrorism, then FATF will put them under grey list or even blacklist. So if these countries are grey listed or blacklisted, they may not get financial help from big countries. So Pakistan is presently grey listed, and this grey list is to be reviewed. Pakistan's position in the grey list will be reviewed in the month of February. So to come out of the grey list, Pakistan has took certain actions by putting certain terrorist leaders in prison, etc., etc. Now the world is looking at whether Pakistan will be given the chance to go out of the grey list. India is opposing, saying that Pakistan must be retained within the grey list. So 3-day virtual plenary session of Financial Action Task Force, during which Pakistan's performance in terms of measures taken against money laundering and terror funding will be reviewed once again, commenced on Monday. Pakistan has been in FATF's grey list since June 2018, when it was presented with 27-point action plan. So Pakistan was asked to reform itself to stop money laundering and terror funding. Given the lack of full compliance on the part of Pakistan in certain key areas related to terror funding, it is likely to remain in the grey list, said a government official. So we have to wait and see what is going to happen. 70,221 crore reserved for domestic buying. Listen, this is a landmark movement by the government. So far, we have been using all the capital allocation for ministry to purchase military goods from outside the country. that drained our forex reserves, but government is trying to retain the money within India to support domestic industry, and government says that 70,000 crore of the total capital allocation of 1.35 lakh crore in defense budget would be reserved for domestic procurements, and a second negative list of items that could be procured only locally by the services. Okay, that's it. So out of 1.35 lakh crore that will be used to procure defense equipments, 70,000 crore will be used to procure goods from within the country, and a negative list is also prepared. Negative list means items that are included in the negative list can be procured only from domestic industry. So that is a great boost to domestic companies, defense production companies in India, and this will definitely help them, and they may in the future invest more and more money in research and development, and India can become a net exporter of arms and defense equipments. So it is a great sign, it is a sign in the right direction. My ministry has planned to invest about 63% of outlay of 23, 21, 22 on domestic procurement, that is about 70,221 crore, a very important information. 63% of the outlay, this is 63%, 70,221 out of 1.35 is 63%, that much will be spent for domestic buying of military equipments. A great news, a move in the right direction by the government. First question, Rafael Grossi is the chief of International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, International Labour Organization, UN Population Fund, or United Nations High Commissioner of Refugees, UNHCR, none of these. Who is Rafael Grossi? Who is Rafael Grossi, please? Very true, he is the chief of the International Atomic Energy Agency. IAEA is the UN nuclear watchdog. The International Atomic Energy Agency is the nuclear watchdog of the United Nations organization, and Rafael Grossi is the chief of IAEA. They keep under their scanner the nuclear assets of the world. Iran IAEA reach a deal on inspections. United Nations watchdog chief announced on Sunday a temporary solution to allow Iranian facility inspections to continue after days of talks with officials, giving some much needed breathing space for diplomatic negotiations. So the nuclear assets of Iran will be inspected by IAEA. We know that the P5 plus Germany, permanent 5 group of 5 permanent UN Security Council members, USA, Russia, France, England, and China, the P5 nations plus Germany successfully negotiated with Iran, under which in 2015 Iranian nuclear assets were kept under the inspection of IAEA. But in 2018 Donald Trump administration unilaterally moved out of the agreement, and ever since then Iran has not been permitting IAEA inspectors to inspect their nuclear sites. Now with the change in administration in United States, hopes are coming back, and it's a first step towards again Iran getting under the inspection of IAEA. China firm slams third party interference in Lenga project. We know that Chinese investment influence is going up in countries that are close around India, in Pakistan, in Nepal, in Bangladesh and in Sri Lanka. Chinese influence is going up. So recently India is also trying to improve its investment presence in Sri Lanka. Now a Chinese firm which had won a bid to execute a renewable energy project in Sri Lanka's northern islands has objected to outrageous interference by a third party, apparently referring to India, voicing concerns recently. India does not like Sri Lanka coming under more and more influence of China. So India voiced its concern over Chinese investment in northern part of Sri Lanka. We know that the northern part of Sri Lanka is very close to the southern tip of India. So India does not like Chinese influence going up in its neighboring countries, especially Sri Lanka. With which African country has India signed a $100 million defense line of credit agreement? India's first such agreement with an African nation. So name the African country that has signed, with which India has signed a $100 million line of credit. Is it Nigeria, South Africa, Mauritius, Kenya or Zimbabwe? Time is up. Please answer quickly. Okay. Very good. The answer is correct. It is Mauritius. It is Mauritius. Yesterday also we read a similar question. I think it is around 50 million line of credit to Maldives. So now this to an African country, Mauritius, that India has provided a 100 million line of credit. India in trade and defense pacts with Mauritius. India and Mauritius signed a 100 million defense line of credit agreement. It was a part of several understandings including the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement CECPA that was signed between two countries during the ongoing visit by External Affairs Minister Jaishankar. Okay, very important, please read. India has signed an agreement. India is helping another country, very important. Growth momentum needs to be strengthened, says Shaktikanta Das, the Governor of the Reserve Bank of India. The growth momentum needs to be strengthened for sustained revival of economy and quick return to the pre-COVID trajectory. We know that Indian economy plummeted during the COVID time and government came out with lot of revival plans that was worth around 30 lakh crore as per government sources. So the Reserve Bank of India governor says that we need to do more to revive the economy and to take the economy back to the pre-COVID levels. Okay. Sardar Patel Cricket Stadium, Motera, the world's biggest, is in which city? Indore, Ahmedabad, Nagpur, Hyderabad, Lucknow. The India-England cricket test match commenced in this particular cricket stadium, the world's biggest cricket stadium, Sardar Patel Stadium, Motera. Where is it located? Very important question. Very true, it is in Ahmedabad in Gujarat. It is in Ahmedabad in Gujarat. Sardar Patel Cricket Stadium. Motera Stadium is a cricket stadium in Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India. As of 2020, it is the largest cricket stadium in the world and the second largest stadium overall, with a seating capacity of 1.1 lakh spectators. It is owned by the Gujarat Cricket Association, is a venue for Test, ODI and T20 cricket matches. Very important, very important. So my dear students, thank you very much for watching the program. Please like our program and please share the link with your friends so that more and more people participate, and it will benefit more and more people. Make the discussion very much live during the presentation of the program, so that our involvement will also go up. I am sure that those people who have been participating the program for quite some time regularly, they are making a flow and they understand things as a chain of things, information as a chain of things. I can easily understand that, and that is going to improve your information level like anything, I am sure. But along with that, please read. Thank you very much. At 3 o'clock we shall come out with another live session on either math, English or reasoning. Thank you very much. Goodbye.